Welcome to my channel. Please be sure to click the like button and subscribe so you can see more of my videos in the future. Thank you. Hi, my name is Valerie and the name of my channel is TexasCountryWife, and this cookbook collab is being hosted by Tamara over at SouthernWife EverydayLife. I was talking to her about a cookbook and crockpot things, and she asked me if I wanted to join the cookbook collab, and I said yes, of course I would. I'd love to do that. So Tamara, thank you for having me with the cookbook collab. And this is the cookbook that I'll be using. I'll be making 2 recipes for you. This is the Quick and Easy Dump Cakes and More by Cathy Mitchell. You've probably seen it on TV. For me, it's a throwback from the past. I've taken it out, I've dusted it off, and read through it, well, skimmed through it, and read up a couple recipes, and the 2 that I picked I think you'll enjoy. And the links to everyone else that is participating in the cookbook collab this month will be in my description box so that you can follow along and watch everyone that's participating. And again, thank you, Tamara. I appreciate you having me. I will also have a link in my description box where you can look into purchasing this cookbook if you like. I have no affiliates right now, so I don't make anything off of that. I'll just be providing that for you because that's something that everyone in the cookbook collab does. So you can find the cookbook and be inspired to make some recipes. Thanks for watching. Here we go. The first recipe I'm going to make for you today is called Apricot Bars, and it comes from this Quick and Easy Dump Cake and More cookbook that is by Cathy Mitchell. It is on page 259 in this book, and I could not find it anywhere online. So if you want this recipe, you'll have to follow along with me very closely or buy the book. Again, it's Apricot Bars, and it's on page 259. Okay, the first thing I need to do is beat together all of my wet ingredients. So first off, I've got 2 eggs. We're going to put that in our bowl. Next, I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. We're going to put that in here. 1 and 2. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to drop the lid, of course. Okay, then we have this 10-ounce jar of apricot fruit spread. Brand new. This is going to go in here, except that spoon is a little bit too big, so let's get a smaller one out. Okay. And this recipe actually calls for 8 ounces, but this is a 10-ounce jar. I figured 2 ounces more isn't really going to hurt anything. I'm not going to try and measure out 2 ounces of this. A little more apricot never hurt anyone, and it's a fruit spread. So, I actually don't think there's even any sugar in this. No, fruit syrup, apricots, lemon juice concentrate, and fruit pectin. So that's a good thing. No sugar. So 2 ounces extra. There'll be extra apricot-y, right? Alright, we've got that in there. And then I melted my stick of butter. You can see that's all nice and melted in there. And I let it come to room temperature so that I don't scramble my eggs here in the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and squish up those eggs a little bit. And then we're going to pour in the melted butter. That was 1 stick. Okay. And we're going to stir that all together. Oh shoot, I almost forgot to preheat my oven. Hang on a minute. It's got to be preheated to 350 degrees. So let me get that turned on. Okay, we've got that going now. And I need to spray my pan. You need a 12 by 8 baking dish. And that's what I've got. And we're going to go ahead and spray that. And set that aside. Sorry, I forgot to do that first. It happens. Okay, so anyway, I think I need a whisk for this because it's not wanting to incorporate. Be right back. should move my tools closer to my workstation, huh? I'll have to remember that for the future. Okay, so we're going to whisk that together. You've got your vanilla, your eggs, your apricot spread, and your melted butter. And whisk that together really good. And I think some of the chunks in here is pieces of apricot. I think we're going to call that good, guys. What do you think? Yeah, that looks like a piece of apricot. So I think that apricot fruit spread's got little tiny pieces of apricot. That should be really good. Smells good. Okay, then we need 1 cup of flour. Put that in there. We need 2/3 a cup of old-fashioned oats. And put that in there. And then we have here 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now this recipe called for 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. I don't have any more. I thought I did, but I don't. And spices are really expensive right now. And I honestly don't think allspice is going to taste good with apricots and oatmeal. So I'm okay with leaving that out of there. So there goes our spices. I'll set that off to the side. And now we're just going to stir this together really good. This is such a simple recipe. I've never tried it before. I've only used 2 recipes out of this cookbook. The Quick and Easy Dump Cakes by Cathy Mitchell. I've done 2 recipes so far, and they were really good. So I decided to try this one. It looks really simple and easy, and it is. I mean, we're going to be done here in just a minute and put it in the oven. Yeah, you can just stir it together until everything comes together. Yeah. It says add dry ingredients and stir until blended. So that's what we've done. And that's what that looks like. And I sprayed my pan. So now we're going to pour this into here. I've got to get used to doing this backwards so you guys can see. I'm just going to pour it. We're going to pour it in here and spread it around. Ooh, I saw a spot of cinnamon there I didn't get stirred in. That's okay. I'll mix him in there really quickly. That'll be okay. I'm going to get a rubber spatula. Somebody needs to remind me to move my kitchen utensils over here. Leave me a comment. Valerie, remember to move your utensils to the island when you're cooking with us. So, one good tip I tell a lot of young bakers, like the kids next door that I've been teaching how to cook, is get a rubber spatula. Because look at all this that was left in here. That was easily 2 or 3 more bites of apricot bars that would have been left behind in the bowl. It's a great tool to have in the kitchen. If you don't have a rubber spatula, get you one. You'll be glad you did. Okay, so now I'm going to use the rubber spatula to spread this around in the pan. And as soon as that oven beeps, that means it'll be 350 degrees. And then I will put it in the oven and bake it for 18 minutes or until it is golden brown and firm to the touch. And then you want to take it out and completely cool this pan on a wire baking rack. So that's it. That was super easy. All right, I'm going to get this in the oven. We're going to bake this and we'll be back. Okay, there they are. The apricot bars. I've got them out and they're cooling on the wire rack. It says to cool that completely before you cut it. And that is supposed to make 24 bars. But more than likely, maybe 20 for this family. I'll cut them a little bit bigger for the guys. Alright, I will be back with a taste test as soon as they're cool enough to eat. Okay, we're back. Here are the apricot bars. They're cooled down and I cut them. And I ended up with 18 bars, not 24. And I'd say each bar is about 2.5 by 2.5 inches. So I would definitely go with 18, not 24. And let's go ahead and give one of these a try. They look super moist. They feel light and fluffy. Oh, that's really good. And there's little pieces of apricot in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oh, that's really good. It's not overly sweet. It's like a cake. I would definitely try these if I was you. And I might even try them with some other type of fruit spread too. I bet raspberry would be really good. Oh yeah, you gotta try these apricot bars. Delicious. There's a light hint of cinnamon in there. Really good. I'm glad that I made these. I hope you'll give them a try. Thank you for watching. And here we go with recipe number 2. Hi, I am going to make Tex-Mex quick bread. It is from a recipe in this book on page 204. And I will leave a link to the recipe that I found online, that is this recipe, and a link to this book in case you want to purchase it to make some of the other recipes that are in here. Alright, let's get started. First, you're going to put your milk in your bowl and 1 egg, and 2 ounces or a 1/4 cup of oil. Now, I drained off my sun-dried tomatoes that were in olive oil, and I put some of that in here, and then I filled the rest up with olive oil. So that's all olive oil, a 1/4 cup or 2 ounces. And we're going to put that in there. Okay. Now, and I forgot my whisk again. Now we're going to whisk that together. Oh, and in the meanwhile, preheat your oven to 325 degrees. And pre-grease your loaf pan. I sprayed that already and it's ready to go. Alright, I have whisked together the milk, the oil, and the egg. And now you want a little can, a 4-ounce can of diced green chilies. You drain the liquid off of that and you add that. Okay, and we're going to whisk that all in. And you're just going to keep adding these layers. Next is some, it says chopped. I had whole olives and I just drained them, measured out what I needed for the recipe, and I sliced them myself. So we're going to put those in there, with the black olives. And then again, the same thing with the sun-dried tomatoes in oil. They're supposed to be chopped, so I did that. Mine came in whole pieces in the jar. Just like I said, I drained off the oil to also use in here to give it a little bit of that flavor. I'd say I did half olive oil and half of the oil that was on the sun-dried tomatoes. Add another layer of flavor, I think. Okay, and we're going to whisk that together. So now you've got the chilies, the olives, and the sun-dried tomatoes in here. Okay, and then you've got a cup of shredded Monterey Jack cheese. That's going in. Okay, now comes the dry ingredients. I've got my flour. I've got my cornmeal. I've got my sugar. I've got my baking soda. And my baking powder. And that's all there is to this recipe. And we're going to whisk that all together. I'm thinking I'm probably going to need this. Yeah. Let's get rid of that whisk. That's not going to work anymore at this point. So just use the whisk for the wet ingredients. I've never made this recipe before. Alright, I'm going to the big spoon. We're going to stir this together. And you just want to stir it until combined. You don't want to over stir it. That's something about cornmeal. And when I don't know if when you're making cornbread, they always say don't over stir it. And I have found if I do, it seems to be tough. And I don't know why that happens, but it does. So stir just until well combined. You don't want to beat the heck out of it, just stir. Okay, and that's what that looks like. So now we're going to get this in our baking pan, a loaf pan actually. Okay, that's good. So remember, have that already sprayed, greased, however you like to grease your pan up. I'm going to put this all in here. Oh, that smells so good. I can't wait to taste this. It smells really good. You'll have to excuse my dryer buzzer in the background. I'm also doing laundry today. It's a busy day. Okay. Let me finish scraping out this bowl real quick. I'll get this in here. Don't want to leave any food behind. That's a couple bites of bread for somebody there. Okay, that looks good. Get that off the edge there. You just want to spread it out evenly in your pan. Grab a towel here and wipe the edge of my pan. I don't want that burning. Okay, and there you go. And it smells and it looks good already. I cannot wait to taste this. We need to bake this at 325 degrees for 45 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. So stay tuned and I will be back to show you what it looks like when it's done. Tex-Mex quick bread, and that was quick. Look at that Tex-Mex quick bread. It looks delicious. And my house smells absolutely wonderful right now. 325 degrees for 45 minutes. Let's test it. That's a clean toothpick. It's done. All right, we have to cool it on this wire rack for 15 minutes and then take it out of the pan and return it to the wire rack to cool completely. I might just serve this up warm. It smells so good. I can't wait to try it. Stay tuned and I'll show you what it looks like sliced up.